Hey guys, Colorado Camperman Brian here. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to install this. This is the MaxxFan Deluxe. So this is a vent for your camper that pops up really nicely. It can rain and no water is going to be getting inside your camper. And then it's one of those large fans that takes up the entire vent. So the reason we're installing this is because in our bathroom, we have one of those tiny little kind of computer fans. And while it actually does a really good job at, getting the stench and stuff out of there, and after we take a shower, moving the moisture out of there, it doesn't really cool down our camper. And the main issue we've been having this summertime is we'll leave our house where it's 100 degrees. We'll get up to the mountains where we're camping and it's 80, 85 or cooler, and we end up having to run our generator with the AC in order to cool our camper down because it's still 100 degrees in there. With this, these move a ton of air, and I had one of these in my truck camper, not with the nice lid but just the fan. And man, these things move a great amount of air. So I bought this on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description of where I bought it. But I'm going to show you guys the tools you're going to need for this project, and then we'll go ahead and get this baby installed. Alright guys, so here's all the tools I used for this project. I did use my multi-tool with a plastic bit as well as a flexible scraper. If you don't have a multi-tool, just a putty knife will do, or a 5-in-1, a painter's 5-in-1. I always like to wear safety. I always like to wear ear protection when I'm using this. So I did use some headphones or earmuffs, as well as a pencil and a ruler or straight edge. I did use this roof sealant tape, as well as a rag and a blade with some scissors. I also use my drill and my impact driver with Phillips heads as well as a square head. And then I use paint thinner and gloves, electrical tape, and some pliers that are meant to cut wires as well as strip wires. And then a tape measure. Last thing I did use too, I used my extend and climb ladder to get up on the roof. Amazon links in the description for all these tools and materials. The first thing I'm going to do is remove this inner flange. Alright, so now the second thing I'm going to do is take off our old Camco vent cover here. Alright, so we got that all off. Now what's next is to take the sealant off. I am going to try to use my multi-tool and just very lightly at least get it started and just hug the metal. And then when I get down to here, closer to the roof, I'm going to use a putty knife. Alright, so as you can see here, I got the bulk of the old sealant off with the multi-tool. Took maybe 5 minutes. Now I'm gonna clean it up, get those, you can see there's screws in there. I need to get those screw heads exposed so I can get those unscrewed and then pop this whole vent out. Alright, now that I have all my heads exposed, I'm gonna go ahead and unscrew them. Alright, so I got all the screws out now, so this corner is already a little bit exposed. I'm just gonna get my putty knife under here. Alright, so I'm able to get it up enough here. I'm able to pry enough to get my fingers under there. And now I'm able to do that. It's coming off. I'm kind of pushing down on the roof membrane to make sure it doesn't really get too separated. We have our couple wires here, so I'm going to keep these as long as possible to have more room to work with. Now all that's really left out here is just cleaning up the residual that is left over here. Alright, so now I'm just gonna dry fit this to make sure that it's gonna be good. Oh yeah. Okay, so now that we got that in there, we're just gonna go ahead and seat this. I'm just double checking to make sure I have about equal clearance. I'm just dry fitting everything first, just before I screw it in, just to make sure everything's good. So instead of decoring these, I am just going to go ahead and put this down because I don't know for sure when my decor is going to be in, and I have this stuff, and yeah, I'd rather just get all this done right now. So I am just going to butt it up against here, just get everything covered, and this is really what this is meant for, is for to be like a replacement instead of decor. So I'm just going to cover all the screws and everything, and then I'll get the fan put on. I'm going to feed them right down this little guy here, and then drop those down. Okay, and you do need to make sure obviously that the fan is open. I shouldn't say obviously, but you need to make sure it's open. There we go. And then the screws are kind of a little confusing. The silver-headed ones are the ones that are going to be in here. The white-headed ones are the ones that are going to go inside. Instructions don't do a fantastic job, in all honesty, of telling you what goes where. So now we're just, there's 4 screws, 2 on each side. We're going to screw that in, and then we're done on the outside here. So here we are, all installed on the outside. It is looking good. I'm going to jump on the inside and get that all wrapped up. Very nice looking. Now we're on the inside here, and we have our old existing wires and then our new wires. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually get rid of all this excess. I'm going to leave probably about 8 inches or so. Rather have too much than not enough. Can always make it shorter. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and strip these guys. So the wires are stripped now, and then the kit did come with these little connectors, these little blue connectors. So we're just going to twist these wires here, and we're just going to crimp that guy. I'm going to go ahead and plug these in, and then what I'm going to do is plug the battery in, just confirm that it's good, and then if it is, then I will put electrical tape around these. Alright, here we are. Moment of truth. Oh yeah. She's working. Alright, now that I know everything's working, I'm going to get these wires here electrical taped up, and then stick them back up in here. Alright, now I'm just going to measure. What I'm going to do to measure this is trace around, shove this up in here as best as I can, trace around. Now that's not where I'm going to have to cut it, but that will tell me how much far down I will need to cut it. Alright, so here you can see I trace around. Now this is not how much I need to cut off, but rather this small amount is how much I need to cut off. So that means up here I just need to cut off that much. Back here though I need to cut off that much. So basically I'm going to take this measurement, drop it down here, and then I'm going to take this measurement, drop it down here, and then cut a line. I'm going to take my straight edge here and just mark this. Alright, let's see if this fits here. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, that looks good. Alright guys, well that does it for this install video. Again, I'll put Amazon links in the description for both the fan and then all the tools and supplies you need for this project. If you're new to the channel, I do a ton of DIY videos like this where we do upgrades and stuff like that. So I'll put a playlist in the description as well for some of my other videos. So overall, this really wasn't too difficult of a project. It probably took me about 4.5 hours. That did include filming though, so if I wasn't filming, it'd probably be like a 3.5 hour project. And really the most tedious part of the project was getting that old dyke core off. Other than that, it was pretty straightforward. So good luck with your install. Throw a like if you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.